Okay, so let's go ahead and wrap up these problems. So for C, we said we can distribute the negative 8x to the negative 2x squared. So we'll get negative 8x times negative 2x squared. I can change the order of how these things are multiplying, and I can multiply negative 8 by negative 2 and x by x squared. Negative 8 times negative 2 is positive 16. And x times x squared, if you remember, they have the same base. So I can use the addition rule, the addition exponent rule, to keep my base the same and add my exponents. So I'll get 16x cubed as my answer. I just want to show you guys the way that I actually do it, which is a little bit simpler. So I skip this step, and I do this step in my head. So basically, I rearrange it, and I take my negative 8 and I multiply it with my negative 2 to get positive 16. And in my head, I know that I have to use the addition rule for x and x squared. So I add the exponents because they're the same base, and you get x cubed. So as we keep going through these problems, I'm going to be using this method of doing it. Because as you keep progressing through this mathematics course and some of the more advanced mathematics course, you're going to have to start doing it this way. So I have a 4 that I have to distribute to two separate terms. 4 times 5, so again, I can start with my numbers, is going to be 20. And then I have to keep my x. And then 4 times negative 4 is going to be minus 16. For example, E, I have to distribute the 2 to 3 separate terms. So 2 times 3 is going to be 6, and I carry that x squared. 2 times negative 4 is negative 8, and I carry down that x. And then 2 times negative 1 is negative 2. Just erase some of that stuff so I can make a little bit more space for myself. This negative 9 is going to get distributed to 3 terms inside the brackets. Negative 9 times negative 2 is positive 18, and I keep my x squared. Negative 9 times positive 4 is negative 36, and I have to bring down the x. And then negative 9 times negative 1 is positive 9. So if you ever get confused, just remember, positive number times positive number is a positive number. Positive number times negative number is a negative number. Negative number times positive number is a negative number. And negative number times negative number is a positive number. So this, you got to make sure you commit it to memory. Let's keep going. So now I have this 2x being distributed to 2 terms inside the brackets. Remember, in my mind, and in your mind, you should start with your numbers and multiply them together. And now you have an x times an x. So same base? Yes, they're both an x. So I can add the exponent. Remember, if you can't see an exponent on your variables, the exponent is 1. So in this case, it'll be x to the exponent 1 plus x to the exponent, or times x to the exponent 1. And I can add those exponents. So I'll get x squared. Then I have 2x times 5. So I multiply my numbers together and keep my variable there. Let's go on to the next one. I have negative 3x times negative 4x. So let me multiply my numbers together. And let me use the addition rule for my x's. And then I have negative 3x times negative 8. Multiply my numbers together. And keep my x. Let's go to this one over here now. I multiply my numbers together. And I use the addition rule. So I'll get x cubed. For the second term, I multiply my numbers together. Use that addition rule. And for my last term, multiply my numbers together and use that addition rule. Now, I don't have any numbers for this one here, but I still have to use that distributive property. Actually, I lied. I said I don't have a number, but it might be easier if I just imagine that there's a -1 in front of the x. That way, when I go to distribute it, I can multiply my numbers together. So for example, -1 times 2 is -2. And then I can use that addition property for my x's. And I'll just have to remember that for this term, I also have a y, so I have to keep that y. For my next term, again, I can multiply my numbers together, and I can use that addition property for my x's. And then for the last term, I multiply my numbers together, and I got to keep that x. For this next one, again, I'm going to distribute it to 3 separate terms inside the brackets. 7 stays. For my x's, I can add the exponents, keep my y from over here. My 5 is going to stay from here. Use that addition rule for my x's, keep the y. And then this -4 is going to multiply with xy. So it looks like that's what my answer would be for this one. For this last one here, again, just remember we're distributing it to 3 terms. 8, use the addition rule for my x's, and use the addition rule for my y's in this case. Then I go into my next term. 3 has nothing to multiply with, so I just keep it there. Use the addition rule for my x's, use the addition rule for my y's. For my last term, I have -7. My x squared has no other x that I can use the addition rule with, so I just kind of keep it there. But I can use the addition rule for my y's. All right, so we did a whole bunch of problems using the distributive property. I hope you found this useful, and I'll see you guys in part 3.